Hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Derwent Inktense blocks, and I got the set of 24 from Artfriend in Singapore, but I'll include a link to the Dick Blick site down below so that you can check out how much it is and if you want to order. So yeah, I'm reviewing the Derwent Inktense blocks. And in the past, I reviewed the Derwent Inktense pencils, and I wanted to try the blocks out because I felt that the pencils were really nice and vibrant, but I wanted to do more painterly techniques, and it was kind of hard to achieve that with the pencils. So now we're going to take a look at the Inktense blocks, and I'm going to go over how it works and how you can use it for your painting, the different ways to use it, since these blocks are pretty versatile. First off, let's go over what's at the back. Okay, so the back says, let's just zoom in so that you guys can see. Okay, so these ink blocks are water soluble, and they combine the versatility of Inktense with the freedom of blocks, opening an exciting world of endless possibilities. And it's perfect for covering large areas and creating free and expressive marks. And when you add water, deep intense colors are created, giving a pure and translucent ink-like effect. So this is an important thing to remember, is that these blocks are liquid ink. They're not watercolor, so it's a bit different. I'm going to be going over the differences later. And so it says the techniques that you can do are: 1. You can apply water over the dry block marks to create a vivid translucent wash. Or you can also take the color directly from the block with a wet paintbrush. And lastly, you can dissolve the Inktense in water to create your own painting inks. I think this is what that compartment is for. So I'm going to be demoing those different techniques later. And let's open up the tin. And ta-da! Oh wait, it's upside down, I think. Yeah, the packaging was kind of funky. And let's zoom that out. There, so these are the blocks. There's 12 on each side, and then I think these are the little compartments so that when you want to dissolve the block or mix colors. So it's really convenient that Derwent included some mixing space in the middle for that. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that, look at the white block, it's so dirty, and all of the stocks in the store were like that, according to my sister. So yeah, I don't know why the white blocks are so dirty. So it's still it's not seen in the video, but it's actually still in a plastic, so I'll be opening that up and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so here are the blocks. I just unpackaged them, and there's a lot of the brighter colors on this side and the more naturey colors on this side. And let's take a look at the block itself. So this is the block. Let me just focus. So these are the blocks, and they're kind of powdery, but they're not as messy on your hands as soft pastel. And there's quite a lot of pigment in this block. It's very thick. Actually, let's try to measure it. It's about it's more than half a centimeter thick actually, and it's about, yeah, I'm using a T-square because I don't have a ruler with me at this moment. It's more than 7 centimeters long, or about, yeah, 2.75 inches. So that's a lot of pigment for this. There's a lot of pigment packed in there, so it's value for your money. So first off, I'm going to demo all of the different ways you could use this product. So I'm using the Canson XL paper that I reviewed recently to do the swatches because there's a lot of papers in the pack, so budget paper. And let's just take one. Yeah, let's take this. So I'm going to demo here on the side the ways to do it. The different ways to use it. So the first one is to apply it dry like a crayon. So if you're gonna apply it dry, you can make small marks with this, or you could use it on the side, and there. Kind of feels like pastel. And then if you try to wet that, the color is really vibrant, and even though I applied really lightly, the color is still very bright. Yeah, so here's what it looks like dry, and here's what it looks like when it's wet. And then the next portion, I'm actually going to take, I'm going to put my wet brush directly at the blocks, kind of like a watercolor palette. So let's just put this here so that you guys can see. And here, I'm taking the same color and I'm wetting it like you would with a watercolor palette, and then you go wash. Lots of color. I suggest, like, if you want to get really light colors, you want to use a spare palette and kind of water it down more. It's really difficult to get pastel colors with these blocks because they're so vibrant. I want to get a really dark color. Yeah, there. And the last one is we're going to try to kind of make it into a liquid ink here at the side. Okay, so let's just kind of scrub it in a bit. Actually, I'm not sure if you're supposed to scrub it in or you're supposed to like... Okay, scrubbing this in is really slow. So you might want to take something like a cutter and actually shave the bits. I'm just gonna use a pair of scissors here, because I can't find my cutter. Yay. So I shade out just a little bit of the pigment and we're gonna mix it for ink. I think this is really good if you want to do Asian style paintings. This technique will really work for you. And then when this dries up, you could just re-wet it, like if you want to use it for on a later date or continue your work, so that you don't end up wasting pigment too. So there's a lot of value in this product. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch all of the colors on the other side of the paper. This will probably be in time-lapse, and I'm going to narrate as I go. And I'm just going to do swatches for how it looks like dry and how it looks like wet. So these colors are very bright and they go on quite smoothly, although I really don't like applying them dry because it kind of gives a crayony effect. I prefer to use these blocks as more of a paint. But you can do it dry if you want. I think it'll still work well. And one thing that I have to note about these colors though is that a lot of colors in this set are not very light fast. Like the reds, they have a very low light fast rating, so these colors will fade easily because they're dye based too. So if you plan to keep them out in the sun or displayed somewhere where a lot of light will hit it, just be aware that these colors will fade. Now I'm just going to take a look at how the white Inktense block swatches, since I did a swatch here but it didn't really show. So I prepared like a black swatch and we'll see how opaque the white block is. So if you apply dried, the white block is actually pretty opaque. Now let's see what it looks like when it's watered down. It kind of creates a misty, foggy look when it's dry or wet. So I think you could use the white block for like maybe some of the perspective fog mist effect. Or if you just want a fog effect, it'll do. So now I'm going to do a demo with the Inktense blocks, and I'm actually trying to use as less colors as I can, just to see how much value you could get with just a few colors. So to start off, I'm just using very light tones of red, blue, and a bit of yellow later. I color in the fish first with just water, and then I'm using a wet on wet technique to kind of blob the paint around. Although in retrospect, the paper I used, I used the Canson XL, it probably wasn't the best paper for this technique because it doesn't take wet on wet as well. So yeah, this is not due to the blocks itself, but possibly the paper. So I just make a really light pastel-y wash of the colors and then I'm letting it dry. And then I plan to go back with the darker Inktense blocks afterwards, the darker brownish grays, to add a bit more detail to the fish. I really wanted to do a loose style with the paint. Like, the pencils are better for the tighter detail, but I think with the blocks you can do really a lot of painting techniques very loose and free. And I thought that was an interesting aspect to explore, so I really wanted to do that. And you see in the later parts, I have a harder time getting the detail. And I think if I had the pencils to work with in conjunction with these blocks, it would be better. So yeah, I just waited for the water to dry. That's why it took so long. And I went back with a Copic liner in sepia, and then I just lined some of the outline of the fish. And now I'm going in and doing the first pass of details. These colors are very intense, so I had to water them down a lot. Which is good because you get a lot of value for your money. Just take note that, yeah, it'll take some effort to get these colors to lighten up, and you might want to be careful because you could end up ruining a painting if the color is too dark. And you cannot lighten these up after. But that's what I liked about it, because as you can see here, I'm adding washes in with brighter colors, and the details that I put first with the grays didn't budge when I was putting on the washes, because with normal watercolor the marks would fade out because of the water, but here, because it's dye based, the ink really stays on the paper, so you could do a lot of layering with these. It opens up a possibility of new techniques. Yeah, so that has been it for this review. I really like these blocks, and I think I'm going to use them more in conjunction with the Inktense pencils. So just take note that these are not watercolor. There are some things that you can do with these blocks that you can't do with watercolor, and there are some things that you can do with watercolor but you can't do with these blocks. But I think that these blocks are a really fun medium to explore if you enjoy bright, vibrant colors, and you're very interested in the prospect of liquid inks, and you kind of like how the layers don't budge after drying, then you can definitely try these products. And if you're a fan of the Inktense pencils and you wanted to export to the blocks, you'll like these too. So yeah, that has been it for this video, and if you enjoyed it, show some love to the thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel. I think this upload is going to be a little late because of schedule conflicts, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm going to have more reviews coming up in the next week, so thanks for watching!